Yesterday we stopped at this paragraph about the worshipping the 6 directions. Today we are going to continue with the introduction. From this general code of lay Buddhist ethics, we turn to texts that offer more specific points of advice, beginning with a selection of suttas on the family. This has separate sections on parents and children, and husbands and wives. In keeping with the norms of Indian society, in fact, of virtually all tradition agrarian societies, the Buddha regards the family as the basic unit of social integration and acculturation. We highlight this. It is especially the close, loving relationship between parents and children that fosters the virtues and sense of humane responsibility essential to a cohesive social order. Within the family, these values are transmitted from one generation to the next. And thus, a harmonious society is highly dependent on harmonious relations between parents and children. The Buddha emphasizes filial piety and the gratitude of children to their parents, a debt they can adequately repay only by establishing their parents in the proper Dhamma. So this paragraph covers the suttas about family, which we will explore again further when we read the sutta. Here it mentions that close loving relationship between parents and children fosters the virtues essential to the social order. And the Buddha also emphasizes filial piety and the gratitude of the children to their parents. That they can only repay by directing the parents in the proper Dhamma. Next paragraphs is the IKIM. Would you like to read?
Okay. Wholesome relations between parents and children depend in turn upon the mutual affection and respect of husband and wife. And thus the Buddha also offers guidelines for proper relationships between married couples. This again emphasizes a common commitment to ethical conduct and spiritual ideas of special interest to us at a time when many marriages end so soon in divorce. Is the Buddha's advice to the loving couple Nakula Pita and Nakula Mata on how the love between a husband and his wife can be sustained so strongly that they can be reunited in their future lives. This discourse also shows that far from demanding that his lay disciples spurn the desires of the world, the Buddha was ready to show those still under the sway of worldly desire how to obtain the objects of their desire. The one requirement he laid down was that the fulfillment of desire be regulated by ethical principles.
Thanks, Sister IKIM. Okay, this paragraph probably especially important for those with couples between husband and wife. Bhikkhu Bodhi especially highlight this of special interest to us at a time when many marriages end so soon in divorce. Let me highlight this. Yeah, the statistics I think is really astonishing. I think in Singapore, it's probably 1 in 3 marriages end up in divorce. In US, it's probably higher, probably reaching 50%. I need to double check, but it's still pretty high. Yeah, so here, the couple, a husband and wife, ask the Buddha how they can be reunited in the future lives. One requirement that the Buddha laid down is the fulfillment of desire, regulated by ethical principles, which we will explore further in the sutta. See. Next one, Sister Lin Toy, would you like to read?
Next come a number of texts dealing with different aspects of household life, united by an emphasis on right livelihood. 2 characteristics of the Buddha's injunctions to his lay followers regarding the pursuit of mundane happiness stand out from this text. First, in seeking the good visible in this present life, the lay follower should consistently adhere to principles of right conduct, especially to the 5 precepts and the rules of right livelihood. Thus, for example, he stipulates that wealth must be acquired by energetic striving, righteous wealth righteously gained. Again, he asks his lay followers to use the wealth they obtain not only to gratify themselves, but also to benefit their dependents and others who live on charity, particularly virtuous ascetic and Brahmins.
Okay, thanks, Sister Lin Toy. So this paragraph deals with right livelihood. There are 2 characteristics that Bhikkhu Bodhi pointed out. First, in seeking the happiness in this present life, we should adhere to the right conduct, especially the 5 precepts, the one we recite every morning. And the rules of right livelihood. What are the rules of right livelihood? The Buddha stipulates that the wealth must be acquired by energetic striving, righteous wealth, righteously gained. So you might think, then what is the example of not righteously gained? You can see in the news a lot of scammers around. And recently I read a pretty heartbreaking story that I think a 75-year-old lady was scammed 1 million. Yeah. And she wasn't even aware that it was a scam. Yeah. So it was really heartbreaking when I read it. What kind of people would steal from a 75-year-old lady? And that was all her life savings. And she even withdrew that from her CPF. So she has built that up for over 50 years. And yeah, she got scammed by I don't know who. So that could be one example of wealth not righteously gained. Okay, next one, Sister Billy, would you like to read?
Second, the lay follower should not rest content with the mere pursuit of temporal well-being and happiness, but should also seek the well-being and happiness pertaining to the future life. This is to be done by fostering those qualities that lead to a happy rebirth and the attainment of Nibbana. According to text, chapter 4.3 and 4.5, the principal virtues a lay follower should possess leading to a future welfare are 1. Faith in the Buddha as the enlightened one. 2. Moral discipline as unbroken observance of the 5 precepts. 3. Generosity as application to charity, giving, and sharing. And 4. Wisdom as insight into the arising and passing away of the phenomena. For early Buddhism, the ideal householder is not merely a devout supporter of the monastic order, but a noble person who has attained at least the first of the 4 stages of realization, the fruition of stream entry. Suttapati.
Thanks, Sister Billy. So this is the second characteristics that the Buddha stipulates. The lay follower should not content with the mere pursuit of happiness in this life, but we should also seek the well-being and happiness pertaining to the future life. How? The Buddha stipulates us to establish the principal virtues a lay follower should possess, leading to future welfare. What are those virtues? First one is faith. Second one is moral discipline. Third one, generosity. Doing dana. And the last one is wisdom. For early Buddhism, the ideal householder is not merely a devout supporter of the monastic order, but a noble person who has attained stream entry. So set a high bar for lay followers. Okay, I think let's read one more. Finally, with section 6, we come to a selection of texts on the community. I use this word to refer broadly to both the Sangha, the monastic order, and the civil society in which any branch of the monastic order must be rooted. From the Nikayas, it is clear that while the Buddha principally aimed at guiding people toward moral and spiritual progress, he was fully aware that their capacity for moral and spiritual development depends upon the material conditions of the society in which they live. He acutely realized that when people are mired in poverty and oppressed by hunger and wants, they will find it hard to hold to a path of moral rectitude. The sheer pain of hunger and the need to ward off the elements and provide for their families will compel them to stoop to types of behavior they would avoid if they could obtain fair employment and adequate remuneration for their services. Thus, he saw that the provision of economic justice is integral to social harmony and political stability. If you read, can you relate on the current society that you live in, that we live in? Let's take a look at this sentence. Their capacity for moral and spiritual development depends upon the material conditions of the society in which they live. So if we take example as us living in Singapore, the condition of the society in Singapore, I would say, is relatively good compared to other countries, which has, well, now you can take a look. Some nations are currently at war, and in the past, our neighbors also having a lot of upset in the political system, a lot of coup in Myanmar and riots. Imagine yourself in that situation, in that condition, living in that society. Will it be as easy to study and practice the Dharma? For me, probably not, if I were to live in that country. So I think that will be the essence of this paragraph. Yeah. If we live in a good society, it will be probably much easier to focus and practice on the Dharma. But if we live in a troubled society, countries in war, countries in poverty, countries with a lot of upset in the politics, and I think just yesterday I checked the GDP of some countries, the lowest country, they earn around what? At max, they earn around $300 per month. Some people earn around what? $50 per month. If you compare to Singapore, if you work part-time, you can probably earn that in a day. Yeah, so you can imagine the poverty in those countries. Okay, I think this is a good time to stop. Any questions or comments? Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a virtuous Thursday ahead. Thanks everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.